another surprise is how well the car handles. I mean, it's not going to handle like a sports car or sports coupe, but for a micro subcompact, it handles pretty well. I'm doing 70 miles an hour, and of course this person cuts me off. Let's see whether or not I can get around him. This is saying I should take the turn at 45. I'm at 60, 60, 62. And again, like I said, very stable. When I'm hitting some of the ruts on the road, like right here, the back end doesn't come around. You would think with such a light car, 2,100 pounds, that if you hit some of those ruts on the road, that the back end would bounce up. And especially the way they designed the rear suspension of the car, if you read up on it, it's the actual shocks are mounted a little bit differently than your typical vehicle. So again, you're expecting those things where if you're on a turn at a high rate, 60, 65, and you hit a bump, you're going to expect that rear end to bounce up a little bit on a small car. But this, again, it did not have that. I was confident enough in the car. I mean, I certainly wouldn't drive it one-handed at 62 miles an hour in that turn. I had both hands at 3 and 9. But again, like I said, it is surprising as far as like the handling of the vehicle for such a short wheelbase, but it makes up for it with the wide track. I mean, some people have been describing it as a go-kart. It's definitely not a go-kart because you don't sit low, but I can kind of see what they mean, that it's short and wide. I mean, maybe that's the only thing that's go-kart about it, because if it was truly like a go-kart, like a Mini or a Lotus Elise, that one you sit low and it's short and wide. But for what they intended it for, which is like a city car, it's not bad in terms of at high-speed handling. Right now I'm doing 80. It's revving at about 2,400 RPMs. I mean, the CVT is really nice in this car. There's also a couple of other gear selectors like S and B. It'd be like third gear or second gear in a typical automatic transmission car. So if you're going downhill, if you put it in S, it'll actually hold the gear. It's almost like engine braking. Or if you're going up a hill, it also helps the vehicle keep the power up, keep the power band up, the S and the B. And B, of course, is if you're really on a steep hill, going up or down. The only thing that we've been getting a lot of, the people that have come in on Friday and Saturday. I mean, we have quite a few on our reserve list, and some of them are asking about a manual transmission model, because Europe has a manual transmission IQ, Japan has a manual transmission IQ, so naturally they're asking, is that going to be available? And as of now, we've been told that it's not available, but it's not completely off the table. If there's enough of a demand for the manual transmission, there's no reason why they wouldn't come out with one. So there's a possibility that a manual transmission will be available in the Scion IQ. Again, I'm doing 75. Car just passed doing about 85. And again, you don't feel that crosswind that you feel in the Smart or the Fiat, and it's all because of the wider track. It really is. And I'm not saying it because, you know, I work for Scion and people are going to say, hey, you know what, he's a dealer guy, he's a salesman. Of course he's going to say that. Drive it for yourself. If you don't believe me, I mean, that's the reason why I make these videos, so that way if you don't want to go to a dealership and you want to find out exactly how it drives, well, here you go. Here's a way for you to find out. Here's a compact SUV, a Honda CR-V right next to me. And again, no issues with the Crosswinds. If you look at some of the trees, they're actually moving up and down, left and right. So it is a windy day. I wish we can get close to a semi, and so that way you can really see what I'm talking about, or at least see somewhat. We're going to try to go up University and see how it does going up a hill. I'll see you then.